you and Derek um are a joy to listen to.
No, thank you. I wish I could keep him on track because I think we'd have a fun show.
Yeah, I don't. When you say on track, what is it that would
To do with something regularly, do something weekly. He gets in his spurts, and he's really smart. Like Derek is a walking encyclopedia,
okay?
and and he's funny, and is a little raunchy, and he plays well against my deadpan and my dry humor. And I can reel him back in, so we can dance well together. But he gets so off track and all over the place. And I think there are a few things in life that he has wanted to do, like his show Talking While Black. Mm-hmm. He's wanted to do that for a long time and hasn't had the opportunity to just do it. So he's done episodes here and there on the radio or whatever with me. But to do something regularly, I think it's like a part of like one of his dreams. He's wanted to do a cooking show, that sort of stuff. And so,
well, I know for a fact that that guy is a Pisces.
Very much.
Because everything you have said, I am very familiar with. And these are, I won't even say they are challenges anymore, but these are things that I have to work hard at maintaining. Yeah. That's why I'm always like, okay, where's my next episode or what's going on? Because I know once I get off or something, then to get back on is a challenge. But it's very...
If you become self-aware about it. Oh, I feel like Derek is missing that self-awareness piece to be able to pull it back on a regular basis.
He don't got no kids. That's what happened. Yeah. That's what helped me, just kids.
He has no response. His mom has helped, I think. The fact that, and I hate to say it because his mom is sick now. She has dementia. And so he has had to like grow up because somebody has to be there for his mom. And his mom has to live with him now. And he kept saying, I don't want to live with my mom. I'm too old. And I was like, it's not about you living with your mom. Your mom lives with you now. No, you are in charge of making sure she has a place to stay. And you got to make sure she stays inside that house because she wanders now because she's got dementia. Mm. And you have to take her to the doctors. You have to ask the doctor questions. You have to get information.
Well, I got that from him on my first introduction of him or to him in like episode 3 or 4, I believe it was. And he said that he's taking care of his mother. And I distinctly remember him saying something to the effect of, who would have thought? I'm the one that he said that stuck with me. So, So yeah, who would?
But I love him. He is always who he says he is, and which is why I also know where to create my boundaries with him. Because he is who he says he is. He's never anybody else. He has never shocked me or surprised me and be like, I can't believe he did this, or I can't believe that he wouldn't support me this way or whatever. I don't ever worry about that. I don't ever have that. He is a loyal person to me. But if I need him, like he's going to be there the same way I'm going to be there for him.
Yep, that's a Pisces.
He is also, the closest thing I'll ever have to a brother. Oh yeah, he's the closest thing I'll ever have to a brother. I will claim him forever. And and do what I can, where I can for him. He is also brilliant. And I also know that he loves me. And I know that he will ride for me in ways.
Yep, that's one thing. I'm sure he's a loyal person, because that's one thing about Pisces to a fault. If we rock with you, we rock with you. unfortunate.
ever have to worry about that. And so he had that same loyalty with me.
Ooh, this
But also-
banter is going on this episode.
Awesome.
Introducing.
Right. My friend Derek.
So, hey,
Hey, I have a question.
you always have a question.
Yeah. Is the clitoris a real thing, or is it just something that women made up so men don't know what they're doing? It's a weird demeanor. So anyway, everybody, we are here.
You think that the whole thing is just a way to keep men from staying confused? That just shows how easily men are confused.
Well, I just think it's a way that you guys have decided that no matter what we do, it's not right.
Except it's a thing that someone can actually see.
It's a metaphor for how women are,
But it's actually there if someone looked for
if
it.
you say so.
As a gay man, I'm not even going to press this subject any further. But for any heterosexual man, if you can't find it, maybe you should think about playing for the other team.
I'm here.
And you're ready and available for them. Fine.
Bring it on down to the team. So how are you?
I'm good.
What are we doing?
We are doing a collab, some sort of hybrid of sticky note conversations with Erika Washington
Play cousins with Derek and Erika Washington, though we're not related.
and Talking While Black.
That's it.
Because we are talking while black by being play cousins, and we have put it all on a sticky note.
Things get sticky. I said sticky.
But this episode, and this is only, I think, it's actually the first time that anything having to do with sticky notes has been recorded with an actual video.
Right. This is our first time on video.
It is.
On all of it.
Yeah, because we didn't do it with play cousins
Right,
at
we've
all
done it
either.
on the radio, we've done it on podcasting, and now we're doing it on the big screen.
In a studio. Tell them about this studio.
Vegas Content Studio, y'all, is everything. There's several rooms here. You can look them up online, vegascontentstudios.com. There's several studios. They're all decorated really cool, and they all have a different vibe. And the team here is great. You can tell by the quality. Look at the decorations.
The set is cute. You know I love a brick wall.
I love a brick
Real or
wall.
not.
And there's like some really ultra modern ones. So Vegas Content Studio, look it up online, vegascontentstudio.com.
Anywho, okay, so what are we talking about today?
Oh, girl, we got so much to talk about. The last time we talked was pre-election. The last time we talked was...
Joe was still running.
Joe was still running. That seems like a year ago. And what? It's like been a month.
It's been about a month and a half.
Why don't you, just in case someone just got here from SpaceLink, someone got off that darn Boeing thing, and tell people what has happened in the past 30 days.
It actually just made me think of something because, there are people that are stuck in space. They were supposed to come down, but now they're not coming back until February. Will they be able to absentee vote?
I'm sure they will.
They're going to have to.
Yeah.
That's a question that I have for somebody. Maybe somebody who's listening can answer that question.
It's like
can the astronauts vote from space?
They're like Gilligan's Island, a 3-hour tour.
So if you have been on Gilligan's Island for more than the last month, then you may not know that our current president, Joe Robinette Biden, has decided not to run for re-election.
Is decided the right word?
I think because we give him his autonomy and that we know that he's allowed to make his own decisions around his own body and his own career, that he has decided to no longer run for election for president for another term and has handed the baton over to his vice president, Kamala Harris. And Kamala has taken that baton and she is running like the one lady whose name I can't remember right now.
Wilma Rudolph.
Well, her
Jojo.
too. I was thinking about the Olympics that just passed. Sha'Carri is a good one, but no, there was one particular lady who was in the 4x4. It was the relay, and then when she was running, she was so far ahead of everybody. They should have sat down. I don't remember what her name is.
She wouldn't have had a coffee waiting for everybody else to come across. Yeah,
I think her last name it's a hyphenated last name, and it's like Laboni or Lagroni or something.
I'm going to say something that I think you're probably going to object to.
I'm sure I will.
I think that our Olympians this year were really cute. We had so many cute people.
Why would I object to cuteness?
Well, no, because I don't want you thinking I'm objectifying women.
But you do objectify women.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to in this particular case, but they were all hot.
They were all very cute.
Yeah.
Like, we have really cute Olympians.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they had time to still be cute.
Right.
So it makes me think, y'all trained for a lot of hours a day, getting up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, doing all of this training, and still had time to be cute. I need to make sure I can get myself together.
Right, because there's no excuse for the rest of us.
No,
they got up, they got their hair did, their nails were did, and they still went out and set records.
Themed nails.
Right.
There were all kinds of red, white, and blue, all type of glitter and long.
Right,
they were
long
like,
nails.
I'm a sucker for some cute nails.
Around the way, girls. I do want to say in English what you said about Joe Biden.
We said it in English. So he passed the baton. He is no longer running. So now we have a new Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris, who was the current vice president, who then had to hurry up and pick a vice president. And she picked
Coach Walz.
Governor Walz from Minnesota. That, what's funny is, like, I just got through interviewing a bunch of people and asking them about how they felt about Coach Walz.
Which you'll be able to see on our video channel.
Everyone's face lit up. When I said, tell me what you think about Coach Walz, everybody was like, oh, he's so great. Like, when I say, how do you feel about Kamala? They're like, oh, I'm very excited to vote for her. She is very serious and she's going to be about the issues. And, I'm thinking that, this is the right direction for our country, blah, blah, blah. Coach Walz, he's so cute. He's so nice.
He's like Fozzie Bear. He's like a smart Fozzie Bear from the Muppets.
Don't say you have to be.
You just want to go, oh, you know that he's permanently ready to tickle you.
It's that Minnesota nice.
Yeah, he's cool people. But
I don't think he should tickle people, but I do think that a part of what is endearing about him is his family. And when you watch the DNC and you watch his family looking at him, it was all in adoration. And Gus, his son, who is 17, but also his daughter, who is, I think, 23. But she was in the audience giving a little heart.
Yeah, when she did that.
She was so like, you could tell that they were just like, dang, look at our dad. And we're so proud of him. And we like him. And when they actually like their father. Yeah. You can tell that they didn't get off stage and be like, look at me. Like,
go on my social media, Dad.
And then... But you can say the same thing about Kamala. Yeah. Because Kamala's stepchildren, or her bonus children, they like her. Her husband's ex-wife likes her.
Yeah.
So there is something about all of these people who have built real relationships with people, and you can tell they haven't gone and just messed somebody over in the past, and now people have to put on the face because it's like, oh, you're running. So you know what? I'm not going to say anything negative, but also I'm just not going to say anything positive either. But his Doug, the first gentleman's, or soon to be first gentleman, his ex-wife actually worked on a video montage that their son put on Instagram. And so he gave her the credit for it because she's a filmmaker, I think. And so she put this whole montage of her together. So there has to be it's more than just, oh, this is a good opportunity for me.
Right.
She actually likes
because you don't push up your ex-man's new woman unless you like her.
Right. And him.
Yeah, and him too as well.
Him.
I want to go back to how Joe got here, how Joe made this happen. There was a lot of, so basically the debate. We have to discuss the debate. We have to go back in time. The night of the debate between Biden and Trump, Joe came out and I was watching. I was so excited. It took me 45 seconds before I turned the channel. It was obvious. And then, I was just like, oh my God. At that moment, I lost hope. I love Joe Biden. I love Joe Biden so much. And he's turned out to be the savior of the universe. But did you notice that when this whole thing came up and people started to say, Joe's got to go. Obviously, the next choice is Kamala. But people were like, oh, well, maybe Gavin Newsom should be the person at the top. Or, maybe we should get like Gretchen Whitmer and go. Did you feel, because I felt immediately like they were like saying, dude, forget the black chick. Let's go with what we know.
Yeah, I think it was a instantaneous non-factor. Like, she's not even a factor in the conversation. But I think a lot of that stems from the past almost 4 years that the vice president's job, I think, is really understated and not understood well. And so the fact that we're having to coach people on how to say her name, and she's already been the vice president.
She just coached me because I was on Kamala.
It says a lot about how much people pay attention to the vice president and what they're doing, if anything. And she's been doing things, but people don't know what it is because there hasn't been a lot of press around it.
It's not your job to be like, yo, look at me.
Right. And so the job is to be the support staff of the president. Everybody serves at the pleasure of the president. And so she's sort of in the background doing things, but people in the background, anybody who has a quote unquote regular job, they know who's really doing the work.
Yeah.
So if
it's like the first lady of the church. You know the church women are doing the work.
You know folks are doing the work, and those aren't always the people being seen. Yet somehow or another that doesn't translate for people when it comes to politics and the president and vice president. So I think that was one thing. I think the other thing is also, she's a woman and she's not white, and why would we just automatically give it to her? Because then it feels like here we are with that affirmative action, DEI. Now we're just giving it to her just because. And I guess, I don't know why anybody thought we were going to start from scratch, because we didn't have time for that also.
Not only that, I think that they underestimated, the people talking about that underestimated the fury that would have happened amongst Black women. And we see who the first
cornerstone of the Democratic Party.
We see what happened. Black women for Kamala immediately set the bar for everybody. Of course, white men. White dudes had to come along and like whip up, But anyway.
But that Zoom call.
Yeah, that set the tone. And at that point, anybody thinking about replacing her got smacked.
Yeah.
So I think that they didn't look into the fury of that. I think the vice president's job mainly is to support, but also don't screw any couches.
I don't understand it. Do you have backstory on that? Because I've only ever seen the memes and I didn't understand where that came from.
Someone straight up made it up and put it on Twitter, dead naming it because Elon Musk is gross. They put it on Twitter.
Wait, explain a little deeper. So someone said
that on page 119, I think it was, of J.D. Vance's book,
which I read,
Hillbilly LGBT, whatever, that he put the whole thing makes no sense because as a man, I don't see how this works. But he took a glove, stuck it down in the cushions of a couch, and then made Sweet Monkey Love to it. And it's so ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous story. But J.D. Vance is so weird that people were like, they believed it. And it immediately became a thing. But so it was all whatever, like a little under the surface. And then the AP, the Associated Press, the Standard, put out an article that said J.D. Vance did not screw a couch. Like a headline, J.D. Vance did not have sex with a couch. And from that moment on, it was like, but did he? Yeah. The AP, it was such a huge thing that the AP had to say in a headline that he didn't do it.
Joking. Because this is...
But the thing about it is, the reason it has legs is you could see him doing it. He's weird.
I feel like weird is too lazy of a word. I feel like he feels to me like there's an awkwardness, I think, to him, but an awkward is fine. But I feel like it's more like a expectation that people are going to like be excited about him in some way. Like, I think in his head, he's bigger than what he is.
Well, because J.D. Vance is a creature of Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a gay billionaire who's a right-wing lunatic. He's the one who's been financing J.D. Vance this whole time. He's the one who got him into politics. He's the one who pays for everything. I personally feel that what was supposed to happen is Trump was supposed to get elected. J.D. Vance is the vice president. Trump is obviously on his last legs. And then they would replace Trump with J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance would do all of their because J.D. Vance is the favorite of Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Don Jr. So he would basically be president, and the Project 2025 stuff would all get done through him. What they didn't count on is two things. One, J.D. Vance is weird. And this couch thing and then he's got all of these interviews where he says the most insane things about women and families.
Oh, like the cat ladies?
Yeah. And then on top of that, I don't think first of all, they thought they were running against Joe Biden. So they didn't have to put any effort into it. And then Donald Trump is spinning out of control so quick with Kamala, that it's all falling apart.
Yeah, I think they underestimated what we would be able to do and what the excitement and the groundswell could look like for someone else. And so, no, I don't think anybody knew. And so I wonder, and I have a little bit of a hypothesis that I want to run by you and see what you think. There had been talk around Joe Biden not being fit or healthy enough to run and serve another 4 years. That conversation had been going on for months, years even. And, even Trump
so he rides a bike and does all the things.
But Trump was saying, all these people were saying it, his memory, his age, all of this stuff. And yet he's like, I'm running. Yeah. I can do the job. I'm running. And then there's a series of things that happen, including the debate, where people are questioning it even more. But it makes me wonder a little bit if the timing was done on purpose, because I feel as though if he had decided last year that he wasn't running, and still had given it over to Kamala and said, "Hey, I am supporting Kamala to be the next president," but all these other people would have thrown their hats in. And then all these people would be like, but wait, me. It would have been a crowded field of people trying to then probably even cause some strife with inside of the party. So, but waiting until basically July to say anything and to make that decision made it where this is where this is the choice. This is what we're going to do moving forward. And also people it was almost like when you go to the doctor, have you ever gone to the hospital or something and been dehydrated and you get an IV and you instantly feel better? It's just oh my God, I didn't realize I was actually dehydrated. I feel 1,000% better. That's what I feel like that announcement did for the general public.
We all were dehydrated. We were all depressed. We were all downtrodden.
Everybody's
downcast.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to vote for Joe because we can't have Trump as a president. But also, it felt more like we had to go to the dentist and we're going to go. Not because we want to go. Now it feels like we're going to the liquor store because we want to go. It's
and then we're going to go back and make phone calls to get elected. Yeah,
exactly. It's it was a very invigorated.
I will say this. So basically, if Joe Biden was that much of a diabolical mastermind and did it like that, I'm going to say this. It's much like with Hillary Clinton. With all of the stuff that they say Hillary Clinton did and all the murders she committed that she then had, but it was a suicide. That's a boss. I don't know if I can say that on your show.
I have a producer and editor. So
a boss B.
Well, you've already said it.
Well, the point is, if she's that badass, I want her to be the president. And if Joe is that diabolically inclined, you go, Joe. Because that was just the best ever, because they had to do it before. There was a date in Ohio that they had to, the person who's a nominee had to be already nominated at the roll call thing and had to be before a certain date. And it was a week before.
And I also think it probably has something to do with finances, because all of the money that Joe had raised, either he'd have to give back, but they don't have to because it was a Kamala and Joe ticket. And it wasn't, if it was somebody completely new, they probably couldn't have transferred all that money. That's what I think. I don't know, because I don't know.
Well, the thing that gets me is, I think that the villain here, if there is one, would have been Nancy Pelosi, because she was pushing having an open convention, and the events rolled over her. She, before, like you said, the timing was so perfect for everything. And I think people...
That's why I feel like it was there's also serendipity, but it just feels...
That's some serendipity. Because I'm going to tell you, everything fell into place. And who knew we'd all love her? Who knew? I liked her. But I always thought she was Garfunkel and not Simon. You know, I always thought that she's like, okay, you got talent, but Joe's the star or whatever, you know, like Beyonce, but not Kelly or the other.
She wasn't showing her shine the way, but it almost feels as though that's kind of par for the course for a lot of successful women because you also can't outshine your boss.
Right. Because then you're in trouble. You know,
then you're a bitch.
You said it.
I just said it because think about Hillary Clinton. Yeah. I think one of the biggest issues with people wanting to support her or people who didn't support her is like they go back to even when Bill Clinton was in office and they thought she was doing too much.
Right.
She was around too much. She was trying to do, first ladies don't need to be doing that. You need to be out there planting a garden.
If we had listened to her, we would have had health care 30 years before Obama because she tried to do it and they were like, they lost their minds.
How do you think she feels?
You know what? On the one hand, you know how she feels. She probably feels like that morning when she woke up after Trump. Like, but she's got to be a little jealous. I would be. I sure would be. But she also has to be like, I told y'all. And everybody still is giving her flowers because she stayed a trooper. You know?
She did.
Yeah, she didn't go in a corner and be like... Blah,
but
blah,
I think about how much trooping she's had to do over the years. Like, that would make me maybe feel a little bit bitter when you think about Clinton and his philandering ways and her having to stand by her man.
I did not have sex with that couch. Sorry, I had to rewrite it.
But I think about how much poise she had to show in front of thousands and thousands of cameras of people and people probably asking her, well, are you going to leave him? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then you stay to stand by your man because you're thinking about the long term because she was probably already thinking, you know what? I got plans. There are things I want to do.
I'm going to ride this pony.
So I'm going to ride it through. But then you get to that point and Obama comes and Obama just
every step of the way she got pushed out of the way by a man. A man who with Trump, it was a man who under no circumstances was more qualified than her. But question for you, you're a strong woman. You run an organization. You have people reporting to you all the time. You don't get to sit in a corner and cry. But yet, do you feel like doing that all the time occasionally takes a toll on your femininity or your what I mean is this. So one of the things about Kamala is she is perfectly comfortable in her skin as a woman. You don't see her trying. Hillary always seemed like she had to butch it up a little bit for all of the arrows coming at her all the time. If she had shown any vulnerability, it would have been like, oh, a woman. You can't handle it because you're a woman. Kamala doesn't seem to have like you. I've never seen you not be, I hate saying this because it sounds so chauvinistic, but I've never seen you not be a woman. A girl, a girly girl.
Lady.
Yeah. I've never seen you. I've seen you not be a lady, but I have seen you not be a lady.
That is so rude.
I'm just saying. But I've never seen you not be a woman. Where I've seen Hillary from the armor of the pantsuits to the helmet hair. It seems like she's always had to put up with so much crap being Hillary Clinton.
I think it's generational.
And then there's that.
I think it's generational because I think that where Hillary Clinton was coming from, Arkansas, and her age and the way that she grew up and growing up where little girls had to be little girls, and she probably wore a lot of dresses and was maybe even a little bit more feminine when she was younger, realizing that men, if I think about when you watch movies from like the 60s or 70s and how women were treated, and the best job you could possibly get was as a secretary or what have you, and sexual harassment.
Now, even then you were expected to sleep with your boss.
Right, and sexual harassment, like that wasn't a thing. They just, like, no, I'm just groping you a little bit. That's all right. I can tell you need to.
I dropped this pencil, Maria.
Right, and then people were drinking, watch Mad Men, and if you see how, women were treated, and so to combat that, that you have to be like, no, you need to take me serious. So I'm going to dress so you take me serious. I'm going to talk so you take me serious. And I don't want us to conflate the two in any sort of way. And I also don't want to look like I'm flirting with a man ever. Because you can't look like you're all of a sudden that you are trying to sleep your way to the top, even though you can look that way and be as, I guess, throw off as much masculine energy as you want. And someone's still going to accuse you of sleeping your way to the top, because it's not like they didn't say it about her. And they say it about Kamala, too.
Oh, yeah, honey, I've never once heard anybody say that Hillary used her sexual wiles to get anywhere.
I have. Yeah. Not in the same way as some other folks, but yeah, I've heard it sprinkled there. But I feel like it's just something else that somebody pulls out of their behind when they're just like, oh yeah, she probably slept with somebody.
That is someone who has run out of stuff, because Hillary doesn't see this. I can see Hillary be like, you expect me to sleep with you to get somewhere. I just don't see it. She's a peenie stricker. like.
See how rude that sounds, though?
It's okay.
That sounds
Hillary,
awful.
I could be raging, and Hillary could look at me, and it would be a turtle. See?
That's so rude. That's so rude. That is so rude.
Let's talk about the convention. By the way, and I'm going to say something else that might be considered a little chauvinistic.
You love it so much.
Kamala is hot. Like, I noticed the other day, I'm like, she's hot. She's like
straight you seen cute pictures of her when she wore little strappy dresses and stuff.
But she's hot, though, because she's so her. Like, she's a turn on. Like, she's so smart, and she's in charge. She walks in the room, and she's a boss. And
you're making her sound like a dominatrix.
Okay. You know what? Yeah.
Sometimes I really regret when I'm like, yeah, let's do a show. Let's talk. And then let's put it on the radio so everyone can hear.
She's the dumb.
So let me say this before you dive deeper into your abyss of chauvinistic ways. Kamala is very pretty. And she also wears a lot of pantsuits. She didn't wear skirts now anywhere.
Good on
They do. They're a little more feminine because she'll put like flowers. And so, yes. Yeah. And everybody loves it. I'm wearing a pussy bow.
You're wearing a pussy bow.
I am. I love a pussy bow.
I love a pussy bow.
And we should probably explain what that is to people.
A pussy bow is a fashion accessory. It is a certain type of collar at the neckline. Melania Trump made them popular after she stole them from the female, what do they call with the pussy hats? What are those people called?
Feminists? I don't know.
The ladies
Women's March?
Yeah. So that, it became a thing after that. But that's not where
the name came from.
No, it's older. I don't know why they called it a pussy bow.
I don't know either. But I would say they called it that in the 60s.
Yeah, it's a pussy bow.
Anywho, it's a tie around the neck, but it's more like a bow instead of like a necktie.
But it's
on a blouse. It's always on a blouse.
Always on a blouse, yes.
And I do love one.
So, okay, that was a fashion history moment.
Thank you. But she still dresses in a very professional, conservative way.
Have you seen her shoes?
Yeah, she wears cute shoes.
She wears old school spike heels.
Yeah, she wears stilettos.
And that, I'm a guy.
Yes, I know you love a stiletto.
I love a stiletto, a Catholic schoolgirl skirt.
And she, which is also just a disturbing thought to think about. Yes. But she does. So so there's a femininity to it that I can see where you see the difference between her and like Hillary Clinton. But she's still always in a pantsuit. I've never seen her in a skirt suit or a A-line dress or something like that. Unless you look at old pictures of her.
She's out clubbing like she's going out with Jada and them.
Was she has some cute pictures of her when she was dating Montel Williams.
Yeah, when they were talking about her not being black, I was like, look at her pictures from when she was up at the college. She had black girl hair. She had all of the salt and pepper hairdos and stuff.
Oh yeah, she had asymmetrical.
Yeah, no white girl ever pulled that off. Except maybe no white girl ever pulled that off.
Oh, I think you'll find some in Detroit.
Oh, okay. Detroit.
but yeah, so there is that, and then her sister is also beautiful. Yeah. Maya is also beautiful. And their whole family is
kids,
cute.
Those little girls.
They're all cute.
Those little girls look like, if I had kids, that they would look like that. I know this for a fact.
That's what you think.
They're so cute.
They are cute. Yeah. They are cute. And the whole family is really, really cute. But what was I going to say? I was going to say that I think that Kamala exudes this energy that comes from also whomever is around her advising on this piece of it, not the policy piece or anything like that.
The presentation.
But the presentation of it, the PR approach to it, like the idea of that one speech she was giving, and there were some protesters yelling off in the background, and she's like, I'm speaking, and she's like, I hear you, and there's room for conversation about this.
Time.
This is not the time. And from what I understand, she'd actually already spoken to them.
Of
like
course.
they had some time in the back, and so, but I guess they figured like they still got to get up and say whatever they need to say.
Activism.
Right. And so she gave the mama look. She gave that like,
and shut it down.
Like, and she's like, I told you to sit down and be quiet. No, you need to sit down and be quiet because I'm talking. And so you're being rude. And I was like, it was really more of a, you're going to respect me in this space and we can have a conversation about other things. I will say I was disappointed in the convention that they did not have any Palestinians get up and speak. Rashida Tlaib, who is a congresswoman from Michigan.
Ilhan Omar, what's her name?
Ilhan? Yeah. She's from Minnesota.
No, but I would say they gave a lot of camera, like her reacting. I love her.
I like Ilhan too. You know, Minnesota's dope.
Yeah, I see.
And I think people are really going to see how dope Minnesota is and a lot of the policies and just how diverse their legislature and their elected officials are. So you've got Governor Walz, and when Governor Walz becomes Vice President Walz, if that is to happen, that the governor of Minnesota, will be the first Native American woman to hold a governor position in the country. Also in St. Paul, Minnesota, their entire city council is all women and all diverse. Like you have in St. Paul, it's Native, I think there's Asian, there's South Asian. I think someone's from like Thailand, maybe. I don't want to get it wrong, but because they all showed up in like their ethnic garb. And it was just a beautiful sight to see.
Which is, and
Black folks too.
Let's go back to the Palestinian thing. I have always, so when I was a little kid, I grew up during apartheid, when it was going on. And I remember when they created Sun City so that all these celebrities would go there. They would break the embargo by going to Sun City, which was
in South Africa.
Yeah, it was like Vegas, but it was its own separate thing. So it wasn't officially Sun City, and it was interracial. But Israel, I knew as a little kid, gave the atomic bomb to South Africa. So Israel wasn't supposed to have it. We let them have it. They gave it to South Africa. They also supplied South Africa with all of their apartheid tools, all of the arms, everything. Why would you give South Africa the atomic bomb unless it was to kill Black people eventually, So I've always had a thing where Israel, having said that, I also think that Israel, in my opinion, is an apartheid state. I think that what's going on with the Gaza Strip is absolutely horrendous. I will also say that is not my issue right now. My issue is getting Kamala Harris elected. My issue is don't use your privilege to screw up my world. I'm a Black gay man. If Donald Trump is elected, I have to leave the country. So don't bring that crap here to the only person who is actually in a situation that could help those people. So so as far as giving a Palestinian supporter convention time, I say no, double no, triple no, for the simple fact that convention went off flawlessly, and that would have given.
But they gave time to someone from.
I got it. I get it, and that's how life is. Sometimes you have to understand that life is screwed, but you have to live it. If they had done that, you would have given so many talking points to not only the right-wing media, but the mainstream media. Because the mainstream media is biting at the chips to come up with something bad so that they can have a story. And that would have given them a story. So right now, I think what we need to do is get Walton Harris elected, then pressure her hard to end this crap. And she basically told Netanyahu, we're done, Even Joe told him that, but they have to play a game right now.
No, I understand. Like, there's a lot that we never know what's actually happening. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's happening in the situation.
Yeah, and Netanyahu's in the same position as Trump. He's got to keep this thing going so he can stay out of jail.
And I feel like I hear you in that sense that it would give all of this time to right-wing media and whoever to talk about it. But also at the same time, we can't be scared to talk about the things that matter because of where it might go, because they're always going to look for something. I don't think it's scared.
I think it's strategic. I know without a doubt that she knows that's one of the very first things on her plate.
But
when she gets elected.
But if we are a true democracy, that means there's room for all the voices.
If you're in my house, I once threw somebody out of my house because they told me they didn't like my decoration. So, and you know that, if you're in my house, you can say whatever you want to say.
No.
Except you can't.
Well, see, but I guess hear me when I'm saying that I'm not saying that necessarily they were going to invite somebody up to talk about how crappy the United States is and how they have supported this war. But there are Palestinian hostages too. So if they would have had somebody up there the same way they had someone who is an Israeli, has a person that's a hostage that's being held by Hamas, we also know that there are people being held by Israel. So having somebody say that my family member is being held by Israel, and so and they are Palestinian, and their life matters too. So that's where I feel like there could have been some symmetry.
It would have been nice if there had been a Palestinian mom and dad. With
yes,
those two. I get
there was
you.
that, or a Palestinian somebody to say, "Hey, Palestinians," because just because someone is Palestinian doesn't mean they believe in Hamas or anything. So to humanize Palestinians and the strife that's happening, I think there was room for that.
I will say that was a missed opportunity. That I think it would have been great if two sets of parents would have gone up. A Palestinian set and that set. Let's talk about what's next.
With the
so how do you think it's gonna go?
My biggest concern is holding on to the energy.
Yeah.
And I know that there have been, you sent me some negative article, I think it was from the Huffington Post or something, about not being able to hold on to that momentum. I think that's always a concern, though, if any election is holding on to that momentum. But I also feel like they did it at the right moment, that by the time people are getting tired, will be an election day. Right. So any other time, people are already exhausted by this point, because the commercials and the phone calls, the texts, the door knocks, the mailers, and all that stuff that is coming down the pipe. It's now going to be all about Kamala, and there are people still learning about her. So I think if we push through September, I think we'll be fine, because next thing you know, we're in GOTV.
Do you think that people I've always thought we were going to win. I always did. I thought we were going to, I still don't understand why it's even a horse race, but
I didn't.
Do you think that there's an energy now, people are just tired of the negativity? People are ready for love?
That's why, ready for love, yeah. Well, I think, yes, because like I said, every time I asked somebody how they felt about Coach Walz, their face lit up in a way that I think they were excited about having nice people who, as much as they have to say, Trump did this and Trump did that, and you need to not be bothered with him, they're also concentrating on the good. And people, if there's enough stories around the goodness of the Walz family, the goodness of Kamala's family, and the is it Elmhorst? I can never know. Imhoff. I should know this.
I like his daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
His daughter,
Ella.
Yes. And I've seen her over the years, like, grow, and
she's a fashion girly.
And they didn't cover up anybody's tattoos.
Yeah.
It seemed like the kids were allowed to get up there because Governor Walz's daughter got up there and she had on her little clogs and her dress, and you could see her tattoos as well. And so they didn't try to make them look like something they weren't. It wasn't overly politically polished. Right. And I think that's also
the straight skirt that comes to right here.
Yes, and putting on a blouse or something that a 22-year-old would probably not wear.
She looked like she went to Target and got a cute dress. And it looks like that's what she always does. It looks like
she might have just wore a dress that she already had.
Yeah.
And put on some shoes she already had. Because I want you to think back to when, what's her name? Palin was announced that she was going to
be. And they cleaned up that family of hillbillies.
So mean. But when they got on stage, when you think about what they look like, they were very buttoned down, conservative looking children.
And she was 17 and pregnant.
Right. And you did not look at them and see personality.
Right.
I see personality with these kids and with the young folks in a way. And it looks like no one is pressuring them to, clean up in some artificial way. And I think that is part of what's going to carry us through, is that there is room for Democrats to be realer, because that's what we've been missing. Democrats have been playing this game for far too long of like, we're taking this high road and we're very buttoned up.
I love you, Michelle, but
right. And Michelle even now is like, look here, let me tell you. Right. I tried to be nice, and I gave you room to be nice, try to be nice, and it didn't work. So now you're going to get what you get. Exactly. Take your earrings off. We're getting ready to just scrap. But I think that's where the Democrats have been missing. And so the more that Trump punched at them, and the more we're like, no, we're better than, and we're going to say highbrow, and we're use big words. Now it's like, no, we are really just like regular people, and people are actually like, they get mad, and they get pissed, and they cuss a little bit. Wait, before you say, Governor Walz was like, mind your own business.
Your own damn business.
Right, your own damn business. And that wouldn't have been said in the past.
No, and I think, you know what I noticed too? So I've always complained, our problem is our messaging. Why have we allowed them to own God? Why have we allowed them to own the armed forces? Why have we allowed them to own law enforcement?
And being patriotic.
Right, and patriotism.
See how I'm wearing red, white, and blue today?
You are.
Do you see that?
I saw that. I am, and
because I am demure.
You're demure.
I'm demure.
You're demure. I think that anybody that knows me knows that I'm the most unexpectedly patriotic person that they know. I just am. And I'm a Democrat. What I like this season is that those norms are gone, but also, what do you think the influence of all of these social media influencers, et cetera? It seems like someone has taken over the messaging that ain't part of the crew.
I keep thinking it's Juan.
Juan Ortega?
Yes. I keep thinking it's Juan, because I'm like, Juan had to have a little touch in this. Yes, because he's so much fun.
Or Laura Martin from Plan, just somebody who's just savage.
Somebody was just like, look, let me just tell you what you need to be doing.
Right.
Yeah, I think that somebody has been sitting on the sideline saying, put me in, coach. Let me tell you what you really need to be doing. And then somebody was like, hey, Juan, tell us what you think. Oh, you ready? Let me tell you what we're going to do. And then they, like, all these influencers, all this, if you do this, if you do this, you do this, we're really going to grab people. And it happened.
She's allowing it to happen.
She is, which is interesting, because I have heard over the years by multiple people saying that she was so hard to work with. She couldn't keep staff. She went through a lot of staff over the last couple of years. And so, one, it's something that they say about Black women anyway.
I was going to say, really?
Because,
Joe Surprise.
Look,
I've heard about you.
You know, I think it's a badge of honor when you are in charge as a Black woman and someone says you're hard to work with, because that means you've actually made it in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Especially if they can take that, they've worked under you, and then go get a job somewhere else.
And get a good job.
Right.
Get a whole good job.
Just saying. So let's move on. What do you want to see from Kamala Harris? Why do I keep saying Kamala?
I don't know.
I don't know why that is. Kamala Harris. By the way, I have to tell you, my mom keeps going. So for everybody to know, my mom is 81. She has dementia. And so we've been watching the convention all week, and she's been loving it. She's been loving it. And she always says whenever she sees Kamala, she always says, she's so cute. And then when she sees Doug, she goes, now, let me understand. She's married to him. And I go, yeah. And then she goes, oh, and them little babies, they look too old for that. And I'm all, those are not. Those are like.
Did you, well, if you've seen pictures of him when he was young, he was very handsome.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. I don't.
He's still got, you know what? He's a good looking, he looks like the type of guy that when you have people over to the house, he gets the wine. If that makes sense.
He knows how to pick a good wine.
No, he's happy to be there. He's happy to entertain. He's happy to let his wife shine.
So let's talk about that for 2 seconds, because I was just having a conversation with Will, our producer of Sticky Note Conversations from Black Gypsy Media, Black Gypsy TV. And
is he like Vegas Content Studios here at Vegas Content Studios?
Yes, he has a studio too.
And what's his name?
His name Will Black.
And he has
Will.
what studio?
Black Gypsy.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was talking to him and I said, you know, it's really refreshing to see how supportive he is of Kamala, because that's not the norm. Even when men say that they support a successful woman, I have a hard time believing it. I don't see it. I ain't never seen it. Anybody I've ever dated.
And he doesn't do it as a wuss.
No. And anybody I've ever been with or even remotely tried to be with in any sort of way, it has always been a issue. It becomes a competition a lot of times, or it becomes a jealousy. It becomes, you know, an insecurity that you're taking up too much time. And if you look, most of the time, most stories, dramas that are written about women who are successful and there's a man around, they always get that ultimatum of having to decide. It's either me or your job, or you're spending too much time at work and you're not spending time at home. You're not giving 100% over here.
I had to pick up some cereal that the kids knocked over.
You're not around. You're not here for me. You're not supporting me.
Maybe she wouldn't have got that D if her mother was around.
And it's a constant story. There's a show on right now. I think it's called Reasonable Doubt. The second season just started. It's on Hulu. And that was like the basis of the first season. It started with the husband giving her an ultimatum, and she's like this high, a high quality lawyer in LA, and, high profile cases, all of that. And he's like, you need to decide, you want to be a wife or a lawyer. And she decided, she's like, I'm a lawyer, and so he was all taken aback by all this. And it was so gross and ugly. And I was just like, I don't understand it. But it's a constant theme that you'll see in storylines all over the place, because it's a constant theme in a lot of women's lives. And so for a man to be that secure in himself as a whole person, because he's a lawyer and he's a professor now, I think at Georgetown. So he's keeping himself busy and he's got stuff to do. But for her to be able to do this and for them to actually still like each other, he has to be a supportive partner. And the amount of time that she spends being the vice president, I don't know how long that is, but I'm sure it's more hours in a day than I work. And then you add on top of now she's running and she's trying to do that job and she's going to be president and you're still there and you got to show up and just do whatever.
And Melania couldn't be bothered to put a Christmas tree up that didn't scare children.
Ew.
Yeah.
So, well, one, I don't know where you find men like that. Two, why is it so difficult for men to be that supportive, for the woman to be able to be that big of a leader, to be the leader of the free world? Do you know how secure he has to be? He needs to put a class together.
A master class. What's funny about that is being the gay in the room. I don't understand men that way. I also was brought up around a father who actually was very supportive of my mom, and she was very supportive of him. And I've never seen in my personal life, I've never seen the dynamics of a man not being completely supportive of his wife and a wife not being completely supportive of a man. I've never seen that dynamic. And when I hear, I've watched your relationships, I've watched your life, and I've seen it. And I'm just like, I don't comprehend a lot of the idiot man crap. I know they used to call it toxic masculinity. I just call it idiot man crap. I don't know what it is. I don't get it either. And when I have a relationship, I tend to be Well, I'm always the star of it. It's not. Never mind. I don't know. It's like, I'm like, I'm trying to say it nicely, but.
Well, do you feel like you've been in relationships where you feel like you were completely supported in all your dreams and things you want to do?
No, the last one, because he was crazy. But before that, yeah. But I also, you know what? Let's be honest. I'm the type of guy that if I were straight, my girl's nails would be did. Her hair would be done. She'd have the baby mama wagon, because that's the type of guy I am. So when I'm in a relationship with a guy, I tend to find guys who sort of want to be the wifey. I wifey you up.
But even then.
Okay, so the great love of my life, he was a barista, but he's also a great artist. And I was like, bro, stop working. I got us. You go to school. And he did. And he went on to do great things. So yes, I guess I am Doug Emhoff in the sense that if you're doing this and you have this talent, I'm here for you 100%. And if that means I have to cook or wait for you to get home to cook, I will.
I'll just starve until you get here.
I am a very modern man. So yeah, I get Doug Emhoff. I totally get him. What else do we have on our list?
Breonna Taylor.
Oh. So this week, Breonna Taylor, who was murdered in her sleep by the police, who came in with a note, they busted the door down. They got the wrong apartment. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Her boyfriend jumped up. He had a registered gun. He knew what he was doing. He got up to protect her. Mm-hmm. The police ended up shooting her, killing her. The cops were convicted, I think, and then it got all overturned. And they now say it was the boyfriend's fault that she died because what? Like,
yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like, I looked at it. I'm trying to pull it up now again. But yeah, the judge rules that Taylor's boyfriend caused the death.
And I didn't
understand. Right. So because he had been involved in some things or whatever, so then it's more, to me, that sounds more secondary than things like, oh, well, that's like saying, well, your cousin used to deal drugs, and then you were over there one day doing something else that had nothing to do with him. So somehow or another, it's his fault. Right. And the police show up, and you get killed accidentally, but it's because of the cousin of what they used to do.
You know, how are you going to break into somebody's house and not expect them to jump up out of bed in the middle of the night and be ready to fight?
Well, I guess because he fired shots.
Well, yeah, again.
Right. And so they're saying that that's the reason, the cause of the legal reason that he caused the death, because he shot at the police and they shot back, even though they killed the innocent person.
So when MGM, when the people who got shot at the music festival here sued MGM countersued them, saying that they should have sued the guy who shot them. And again, it's like the victim is lost in a legal morass. And it seems really, and they've already settled with the family. So y'all know y'all did wrong. Why did you come back all these years later and basically dig this woman out of her grave, bring back all this drama, make everybody feel bad again? For what? You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. And
I feel like I'm just overly exhausted with this circular conversation around policing. And I don't know exactly what the answer is. I know some people feel like we need more police in order to feel safe. I'm not a person who feels like we need more police to feel safe. I feel like we need more services. We need to eradicate poverty. We need to understand mental illness. We need to understand
fair on them to be the mental health worker on the street.
They shouldn't be. They aren't that. And so, but also, you know, us allowing the amount of guns that we allow because people are allowed to have this Second Amendment right or what have you leads to more deaths too. Not just police shooting people, but people shooting people. But if there were less guns all around, I feel like that's helpful. I think there's so many other things that we have to think about instead of just adding more police to just patrol us to make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Why do you think we won't hit? You know the root. Everybody knows the root. Why do you think that we, rather than performing a root canal, we keep putting veneers on stuff in this country?
Because it's too hard to really try to solve a problem, it's so much easier and it keeps more people employed if we put a lot of Band-Aids on things. I mean, I think we could cure cancer if we wanted to, but cancer has become big business. That cancer institutes pop up all over the place, which then employ people. You know, even when you have like the Susan G. Komen run or whatever, like that's bringing in a lot of money. All this money that gets thrown towards cancer, yet we don't have anything that's curable yet at all.
But we were able to take care of HIV pretty quickly.
Basically,
there wasn't a whole lot of money in that.
Yeah,
I mean, there's money in it, but I get what you're saying.
There are not HIV clinics popping up everywhere. Right. It feels to me also that you add on top of it prisons. Prisons offer free labor, which then you add that free labor and the manufacturing of things that, we need more people to go to prison so they can get the free labor, so we can have more stuff.
Yeah. So we are at the end of our hour.
Almost. Because I got one thing before we go.
What's that?
I want to talk about The Wiz. So I saw The Wiz on Broadway.
Oh.
Well, you're like, why do you look confused? Like, you not know what The Wiz is?
Because, I immediately think Diana Ross in Mahogany, which is a award-winning movie that got robbed at the Oscars.
You troll me all the time. So The Wiz was on Broadway. And I had the opportunity to see it not once, but twice. And the show has ended. It ended its run. It was very short. It was only from April to August. And Wayne Brady was the Wiz in the beginning, and then he left, and it was another guy. He's pansexual.
Whatever.
And then a guy named Avery Wilson, I think it was a scarecrow, and other folks who I can't remember. Oh, and Deborah Cox was the Glinda the Good Witch.
So who played Dorothy?
I cannot remember her name off the top of my head.
Do you think that she was as good as Diana Ross was in the movie?
Why would you do this to me? I think that she did such a great job as she's a young girl. She was a very young girl who played, and I'm going to
I'm
find
so
her
old.
name.
I saw the original production with Stephanie Mills.
And so what I'm getting to my point, I can't remember the little girl's name, but she's great. And the album is out now, so you can listen to it. But my point in saying what I want to say is that The Wiz, they redid it. They modernized it a little bit, and it was even blacker than it was before. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. And while I was in New York and saw The Wiz on Broadway.
So y'all know Erika is a Broadway gal.
I love Broadway. I also went and saw Hadestown again on Broadway, which I'd already seen before the pandemic. And they had new cast and what have you. So playing Hermes was Stephanie Mills. So I got to see Stephanie Mills on Broadway in the same week that I saw the remake of The Wiz on Broadway. And it was absolutely amazing. Stephanie Mills looks amazing. And like, people should just see more live shows. But the point I wanted to make also is that The Wiz didn't get the shine, didn't get Tony nominated at all where it should have been. And I feel like, and it got panned the first time, I guess it was on Broadway. People didn't understand it, and they didn't understand why it was needed, but it was so needed to see. And it was so great to be able to take my children to be able to see it so they could be a part of this history of what all of that means. And I feel like it relates back to the election, because we are Dorothy, all of us are Diana Ross on the yellow brick road, trying to get to Oz, trying to get home, trying to get to where we want to be. And we're promised and we're sold a bill of goods. And on the way, we are trying to help everybody else, the Scarecrow, the Lion. We're trying to give everybody their courage and their heart and everything they need. And we get to The Wiz and we find out The Wiz can't help us. The Wiz cannot help us. We had to do it ourselves. And I think that's what this election says. We have to do it ourselves. We can't depend on anybody else. We have to be our own saviors, and we have to vote.
If we were casting The Wiz right now.
Me, I want to be in it.
I was going to say, would you be Dorothy, Eveline, or Glinda?
Well, Eveline was so fun. Like, it was such a fun, it looked like it was a really fun role to play. Glinda don't get enough time on stage. So, honestly, like, I feel like I also don't want to be Dorothy either, because I don't really want to hold everybody's burden. But yeah, Eveline looked like she was like, don't give me no bad news.
Don't nobody we probably can't do that because it's not legal.
We're just saying the words. We're not singing. No one wants to hear us sing anyway.
So who would I be?
You're the whiz.
I think so.
You are the whiz. And then when people ask you to fix stuff, oh, I can't even do that. Why are you actually asking me this? But let me tell you about your outfit because it's cute.
Oh yeah.
You look cute.
I think you're right. Well, this was fun. Our collab between
Sticky Note Conversations with Erika Washington.
Play Cousins with both of us.
Erika Washington and Derek Washington, who are not related.
Though she wants to be really bad and my mom likes her better.
I do want to be related to you so bad. Well, you're the brother I would never have, so I appreciate you.
That you would never have?
I would never. Well, it's too late. It's too late for me to get a brother. So now I have you, and you're my big brother because you're older.
And also, Talking About Black, which is hosted by me. And I just want to say thank you to Vegas Content Studios, vegascontentstudios.com. And what was it called?
Also, I want to say thank you to Black Gypsy, and I want to say thank you to KUNV.
I was going to say, tell them when Sticky Notes.
So Sticky Note Conversation airs every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on KUNV, which is UNLV's radio station here in Las Vegas. But also you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, streaming about an hour or two after the episode airs.
Hard in. We're coming up on 35. We got. Okay, say hi to your kids real quick.
Hey, kids.
Really? That's it?
They're
Hi,
fine.
Mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Miss Ruby Duncan.
Hey,
Who else
everybody.
you got? Who else you got?
Make it work, Nevada.
There you go. Aaron Ford. No names. I don't know. I don't know.
He's a great attorney general.
Oh, Kamala and Coach Walz. Go.
All that. Just go vote, y'all.
Go vote, please.
Please help us out.
Thanks for listening to Sticky Note Conversations with Erika Washington. Hosted and executively produced by Erika Washington, with music, mixing, and editing by Black Gypsy LLC. Special thanks to KUNV 91.5 in Las Vegas. This show is powered by Make It Work Nevada, a project of Tides Advocacy.